have your attention, please?
I think this is a good idea.
Dreams without goals.
People are getting fed up with corporate America.
I want you to get up, stand up, fight back.
Ask what you can do for your country.
Don't call it a comeback.
Alrighty then.
All right, with that, we will start.
Right. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Corner Launch. We are back. I'm really, really happy about this. My name is Jeremy Griffin. We are broadcasting live from the Pod Shop at Startup Street, 3024 West Swan Avenue, Tampa, Florida. If you're in the area, feel free to pop in. I'm joined today by my favorite homegirl on the planet, Miss Gina Marie.
Hey, hey.
And my boy Danny Varaki is here. And
Hey.
Danny said last night that he is here just to, quote, bring the love.
Oh.
Welcome by.
That's
We appreciate
it.
you being here.
I'm not sure what that meant, but I really liked it. I thought it was fitting. So
The world needs love right now.
cool. So we got our first guest in the shop here already. You know how they do like in the building on Breakfast Club?
I'm in the building. Let's go.
Right, like we need something like that for Startup Street. But we're joined here today, right now, guys, by Matt Kelsey, president of Deployed Capital Group. What's up, Matt? How we doing today?
Fantastic. Got my workout in with my girlfriend this morning. Had a great start to the day. Got my food, meals prepped, ready to go.
Are you still doing 75 hard?
No, we're not doing that right now.
No.
But we're still living a healthy lifestyle. It's important.
Do you do the 75 hard? Do you know what that is?
That sounds a little personal, Jeremy.
I do the 65 slow.
Everybody out there listening, good way to get yourself recalibrated. I think everybody should do it once a year.
What is
And
the 75 hard?
75 days, 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes, and then a lot of other smaller character building tasks. Read 10 pages of a book, take a progress picture of yourself so you see how you're
Cold
doing.
shower.
Yeah, it can be in there. It's on Greg's on the level 2. Once they get there.
It's a level 2?
Greg's on level 2. Greg's killing the game. Yep. And then
He loves that shit.
yeah, and then a gallon of water. A lot of things that are just good for you, but to do them all in one day is not easy. So just pushing yourself. I think it's good for anybody to do it.
Very
at the end of
cool.
the day. You have to be organized to do it. And if you're not organized, you're going to learn how to be organized or you're going to fail within 2 or 3 days.
You're going to fail miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And is that followed by a 75-day vacation after that?
No, definitely not.
All right.
No. Well, actually, what's cool is you'll pick up some of the things as kind of a long-term thing. You'll notice. Once you do something for 75 days,
Yeah,
you
2.5
start
months
to,
of doing something kind of forces the
you
habit.
feel weird. Like the day after you don't do your second workout, you
Yeah.
just feel like something's off. Like I need to go run or something. So it works. It's good
Yeah,
for
it's
you. You
training
guys
the
should do
brain.
it over there too.
I'd last until I saw the kid in the corner with a box of donuts, and then I'd be, well, maybe I'll just have one.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Matt is the Matt's running a company called Deployed Capital.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Matt, and then I'm sure these guys will have some questions for you or whatnot, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff that you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about.
So I'm an area sales manager for a home builder. I've been using commissions I've been making and fixing and flipping homes, lending private money, buying rentals to hold. I was doing it all on my own. And, you know, if you only do things on your own, you can't really get to where you want to go, and you definitely don't go very fast. So I learned that the hard way, that it just takes a lot longer to build things on your own. And then I found a couple good partners to partner with in regards to time and capital. So the first person I partnered with is Greg Simpson at Outfast Realty and Investments. We started flipping homes together and getting some scale. So I was doing more projects than I was before. He was as well. And it was a good balance. I was more looking at the numbers side of things, and Greg was really going out and finding the deals and getting the work done that we need done. And so it was a good partnership in that way. We got crazy. We were doing a couple at a time, and then we got up to we had 8 or 9 projects going at one time. And then we said, you know what? We need to turn this into a business. And that's how we started Deployed Capital Group March of last year. So it's a private real estate fund. We have investors that we work with, and we go out and we find projects to produce people a return on their end, and we lend out private money for people on loans for investment properties as well. So it's been insane growth, very, very fast, and it's worked out well, for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with what you guys are doing with it.
Takes a lot, you know,
It really
and
does.
to talk to all the entrepreneurs out there and people wanting to do a startup, I was comfortable doing things on my own, and you can stay comfortable, but you're not going to get to where you want to go. You got to get into where you're uncomfortable. And so for me, partnering with somebody, that was the first step of uncomfortability that I took, but you just find the right person, and then you can grow from there. And then going to the next step and partnering with multiple people and partnering with other investors as well, that was something I had never done. I had people coming to me, 2 to 3 times a month saying, hey, I see you're making a lot of money doing fix and flips and lending out money. I want to do it. Let's partner on one deal. I told everybody absolutely not, because I'm not going to take any of your money and put it into one transaction, because I wouldn't sleep at night. I'm okay losing my own money.
If one little thing goes wrong,
exactly,
that guy now wants to kill you, basically.
Yeah, and it's not even that. Like, I had enough scale. I didn't need the capital necessarily, or the headaches of it. But yeah, I don't want to put one person's savings at risk, because people are investing 50 or 100 grand.
Yeah.
It's not like $10,
right?
And so I told a lot of people no for about 4 years, that I wouldn't do anything in a one-on-one basis on one project, and I would just scale at what I was comfortable with on my own through myself, my own cash, lines of credit, and previous deals. And then we got to where, we wanted to do more, and I want to put a dent in the Tampa Bay market. And you're not going to do that on your own. And that's what I realized. And so we started a formal fund, private real estate fund, and now we can go out and do some damage, and I feel comfortable working with other people because it's spread out over multiple deals. It's not like before where I had to say no on one deal. I'm not going to do that. But if people are involved in multiple deals, I feel comfortable now on my end, and taking people on.
You can leverage the ups and the downs out a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is, I think all entrepreneurs, when they start something and it's theirs, we end up becoming control freaks. I know I was when I started my company. And what happens is you're afraid to let go. You're afraid, like, well, if I don't do it, no one else is going to get it done. They're not going to do it the right way, because you try to give people, you say, do this, do that, and it was never right for me. So I'd always go back and fix it. But in reality, what you've done is amazing, because when you give up control and you're really a good administrator, that's when you make tons of money.
Yeah, I've heard the rule is 80%. You find someone does it to like 80% of your ability, or you can get them there, that's when you let go and let them do it.
Like, I personally have a cousin. He's
like that.
He's a third generation
80%
cousin, and he's a billionaire. And he's an amazing administrator.
That was a B, everybody out there, not an M.
Yeah, a B.
A lot of people out there with the M. You can get to an M pretty fast, believe it or not. The B that's a whole nother ball game. You get to the M pretty fast. The B is a different league.
Giving up the control is something that
It's huge.
And it's the toughest part.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the reason why
Yeah. You know it. We're great. Jeremy and I are great when we go on a project. You want to ever see someone trying not to give up control? Me and him together.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the two of us together. That's
It's a
way
show.
worse than the usual.
It's a show.
I'm good now. Drive the car around the block a couple times, show me you can do it, and then you're good. Take it.
Yeah.
So
80% of your ability, though, that's freaking hard. I mean, and I'm not saying
you need to find someone first with some raw talent to get there, right?
What are you
I
talking
like that though, 80%, because that does is it forces you to realize that you're not looking for perfection, and you're not looking for it to get exactly done as you would if you're doing it.
Real quick.
80% is acceptable.
Another different kind of skill set as well. But here's the deal. We have two ways to kind of get things done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is partnering with someone, which is
Yeah.
badass, right? And another is hiring them. And typically, if you're going to hire someone with 80% of your capacity, we're talking in the hundreds, or more. And usually
That's
at some
true,
point, they're going to be
What do you mean in the hundreds? Salary?
hundreds of thousands or more, right?
They're
But they're
expensive.
going to want a
Not
percentage.
anymore. Not since the pandemic.
Wait,
There's
and
plenty
then
of
they're
talent
gonna
out
want-
there. Trust me when I tell
Everything's
you that.
on sale. It's all half
There's-
off. Let's go.
If that's
Plenty
true,
of talent
I want
out
to put
there.
something out there.
All
I
right.
want a partner. So the whole thing.
She's looking for a partner at 80% of her ability,
Right.
and we're gonna have to be a little more creative. We're not paying hundreds of thousands. Keep going.
with a different kind of skill set that brings to the table for us, right?
Yeah.
So that would totally be open. We have so many opportunities, and that would work. What I find, and this is I want to throw out on the table with a bunch of what I find experts here, is that you can have someone, you either partner with them,
Okay.
you hire them for a lot of money,
Okay.
and what often happens with hiring someone is at some point they start seeing what's being accomplished by what's being done. And if
Correct.
they have that 80% skill set, there's a very good chance that they could create it on their own.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Wouldn't it
Let's
be
turn this around? I'm
yeah.
confused.
We're all working together talking here. Wouldn't
Bring it on.
Wouldn't it make sense to find the other person that feels exactly like you did? Literally, you're going to find 50,000 people that think just like you thought. Now you find somebody that's in a vein that has maybe a complementary skill set to yourself, and you start a business with them. Now neither of you paying each other anything because you have enough money to pay your bills.
I think partnership, I'm in a partnership right now. I think it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. I absolutely love it. And it motivates me. You know, and then, but when you think there is a point too where you have to still delegate stuff too at a high level, you know, so I just am really interested because you started this industry during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, that's been fun.
Woo.
I mean, definitely. So I can talk a little bit about that. So first, let's talk about entrepreneurship and people in general, because that's who's listening to this.
Go for it, my man.
All right. So I really came in here with one thing I wanted to say, and the rest of this is free form. So a lot of people think about starting a business. They tell their friends and family they have this great idea. An idea doesn't mean anything. People die with ideas all the time. And it gets easier and easier as you get old, and you get older and older and older. It gets so much easier to just not do it or say, oh, I don't want to go do it. I'm too busy, or you have kids or this thing. So the best time to do it is literally right now. And if you need to do something right now, it's today. You have to do it today. So take a step today, and then take a step tomorrow. Could be as simple as you go on Sunbiz and create your organization. Takes 10 minutes. You might spend $100 on this. You might make one phone call, but you have to do something every single day to get to where you want to go. But if you just keep it as an idea and you don't put anything out there, you're never going to get anywhere. Anyone in this room, I promise you right now, if you message them and tell them you want to start a business in XYZ, we would take 10 to 15 minutes to help you take that first step. 100%. Anybody in here.
Yeah.
So there's not...
I do that like 2-3 times a week. If you got 45 minutes and the ambition to walk through that door, I'll give you a couple minutes.
You're the best person I know in this whole Tampa Bay market about that, to be honest with you. Most people don't do that. But find a person. I'm telling you right now, call Jeremy or me or anyone
Matt,
here.
Or Gina or
yeah,
Danny.
call us and tell us what you want to do.
Call everyone else.
Yeah, and we'll help you take that first step.
I'm still in my selfish mode. Keep going.
It's okay. And then after you take the first step, you go to
Gina
the
and I
next
are
step, the
working in
next step, the
overflow.
next step, the next step.
Well,
But you got to take your first step.
And the thing with that too is that when you don't take that first step immediately, the motivation, like when it's fresh and you're motivated, that's what drives you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you don't get over a certain amount of hurdles
Yeah.
initially, while you've got that initial optimism, it's gonna die on a vine.
Mm-hmm.
And freaking me, Gina, Danny, we all know that hardcore, you know, because we've just got ideas.
Yeah.
And more ideas. And ideas about ideas. Ideas with their own ideas. Sub-ideas.
No, but
you
when
know?
I was rocking and rolling, I used to have 6 employees, and
Yeah.
I'm just not into that anymore. I sort of do my own thing. I've tapered way back and scaled it down, and I just, it's easy now for me, and I'm not interested in building a huge company anymore.
Right.
But I will tell you, if you look at the companies that really thrive and they do unbelievable, if you look at Nike, for example. Okay.
I'm ready for this.
Nike, Phil Knight from day one let anyone that come to work for him. He had a suggestion box, and if you had an idea and you thought it would help the company, he's lived by that motto. Just do it, and that's basically it. If you have an idea and it's that good, they're open to everything. They don't ever say, "Oh no, we don't like that." They'll run it by people, and they'll really constructively say, I mean, I don't know how many people I run into on a regular basis that say, oh no, that won't work. And I'll give you an example. I used to be in business networking groups, but my business was all over the country, so it really didn't help me for local. But I used to go because I enjoyed the camaraderie, and I was working by myself at the time. And I go to the breakfast meetings, and there were accountants there, and there were financial planners, and there were people that were into like something Gina may do, real estate, all these different things. So one day I'm looking at a guy, he's a financial planner, and he goes, he says, I want to increase my business by 20 to 30%.
Okay.
Anyone have any ideas? So I looked at him and I smiled, and I says, yeah, I have a great idea. I says, do you go to Starbucks? He says, yeah, I'm at Starbucks all the time. He says, I work there. I says, really? I says, well, you have a nice laptop. So let me see the back of that. So I looked at the back of the laptop. I says, go down to a sign shop as soon as you leave here. And I says, have the guy make you not a cheap-looking plaque. Have him make you something that will fit on the outside of your laptop that everyone can see as they're walking by, and put on the sign, free financial advice.
That's good. People love free.
Okay?
They love free.
So he goes, well, what would that do? I said, if it didn't do anything else, you'd meet so many different people. I says, and not only would you meet tons of people, you never know if that person had a very wealthy individual that wanted investment advice, because you're giving some of it away for free and helping people locally.
It's a great idea.
Well, that's not going to work. And I just looked at
Okay.
it, and I just but it's very interesting how many people are closed on ideas.
Yeah.
They say that they're open to ideas, but they're really not. I mean, they're you know.
You do get frustrated a little bit when you do that too much, because if you're busy and you end up with people kind of wasting your time, a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like with all the inquiries you get with deployed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at a certain point, you just got to kind of steer them towards some pre-quals and stuff. But like, if you're looking to get going, I've never been able to understand how anyone can say I don't have enough work, but yet I'm not open to doing some free stuff.
I think
You know
those
what I
are
mean?
the.
It's never made any sense to me.
I mean, I could seriously, you could give me $1 right now, and you could send me out, and I could turn that dollar into $1,000 by the end of the weekend. And that's just going to places and talking to people and saying, I remember being at a flea market one day, and this is a true story, it's really funny. And I see this guy, he's got tons of these shirts, and they're all printed with company names on them. I said, how much you want for those shirts? He says, 50 cents. Yeah, it says they're too high for me. I said, what if I take them all? He said, there was like 1,000 of them. I says, I tell you what, I'll give you 19 cents a shirt from right now, 20 cents a shirt. So we settle on 50 cents a shirt, and I walked them over less than across maybe 50 yards to a woman that's selling T-shirts for $1. She bought every single one of them off me for 50 cents. It was hysterical. And the guy's watching me. The guy's watching me take the
Oh
shirts.
my God.
So I made like $250 just walking across the parking lot. And he's looking at me going, oh my God, that's, because he didn't go over and ask her. She's selling shirts for $1. And she's got all these different things printed on them. Yeah, I used to go to trade shows. And I used to walk up and down aisles and make tons of money just finding stuff. Like, I'd look for the industry that I was in, and I would say, hey, what do you want for those? And then I'd take that. I said, can I borrow the samples for a minute since I'm buying them all? And I'd walk over 2 or 3 rows, and I'd sell the entire thing before I even left the show. Jeez. So I wouldn't even take possession of it. It's just, you just got to think outside the box.
That's a good way to get some startup capital. A lot of people are like, I can't start up because I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying is you can make money doing whatever you want. I've seen a lot of people talk about garage sailing, retail arbitrage, buy some stuff cheap at Walmart on discount, sell it on Amazon. Yep. There's 50,000 ways to get a little bit of money. Go cut some lawns. Do whatever you got to do.
Anything.
Anything and everything. It comes down to action.
I will tell you, in my experience, this is advanced, entrepreneur kind of thinking, because in the beginning there's a freeze point, right? Like, and a lot of people are frozen during COVID, which is you're like, all right, let's go, and who do I talk to? And even like what was mentioned, which I so appreciate, which is the 10 minutes for the sunbiz.org, get your LLC, which honestly was never a beginner stage for me for 10 minutes, right? Just even putting it like, how the fuck you do this shit? Like, I'm like, how do you, I feel like a freaking idiot, right? And I could do it today, but I do delegate it. I delegate it very well today, by the way.
What were you talking about?
Going on Sunbiz to get your LLC or your business, right?
Oh, okay. To set it up, you mean?
And I will tell you, I can ask 10 people, and I would say maybe 10% of them, one, would probably do it within 10 minutes. Most, for what I'm saying is there's different levels, and I see everyone so advanced in this thinking, especially having succeeded during COVID, which is a real high skill set, right? Which is you wake up in the morning, it looks friggin' devastating. All this stuff is crashing before you. Yeah. There's a pandemic. You may get ill and die. You don't know what the heck is going on. You put this shit on your face. I can't see through my glasses. And all of a sudden we're like, go do something. And you're like, I'm frozen. I'm not only frozen, but I'm being told to be frozen. Yeah. I'm told that the best I could do for the world today as a good citizen to give back is to stay home and watch TV. And I'm going to be doing something. That's a mind fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why this has been so much more weird than 09.
Right. Exactly.
09 was like recession.
But go out and live your life. Don't, stay home.
Come on, let's get this thing going. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just work harder.
Right.
This one here was like, no, you won't.
Right.
No.
Listen,
Yeah, exactly.
the best caption I saw through this whole thing was a guy and it says, "This is a sure cure for the coronavirus," and he's throwing a flat screen TV out a third-story window.
That's funny.
So, and that happened to me for the first 8 days. Like, my girlfriend and I are watching the news and the news and the news, and like after 8 days, I looked at her and said, "Shut this off. We're not watching any more of this shit.
I know this sounds so
let's
crazy.
Let's just go about our regular business day
I wish
and
I
not
could do
and
that.
not watch it.
I'm
And
just
then
a
when you
news
don't watch it,
I don't watch the news ever.
Here's the thing that I
Zero.
do. I understand.
people don't.
I don't watch, but I don't. Cause I don't have time. But that, I mean, I'm sure I should. But you know, the whole thing is, I do respect people from all walks of life where they come from, because they have different situations, right? And we're all
100%.
on this plight. Like, we're all on this journey of being human, right? However, for when I wake up, the type of human I am, if you put me dormant for any period of time, I might not come out. I'm not that type of human, right? I need to keep going. I need to do something. So my whole motto became for COVID was do something. Now the advanced kind of thinking would be, I know what to do. The
Do
next
something
step,
and monetize.
Right, like next step would be sunbiz. But honestly, sometimes for me in my life, I would wake up and it would be so daunting, or I'd feel like there was a failure ahead of me or whatever. I'd have to literally just do something. Like you mentioned earlier today, work out, make a cup of coffee. Like, there were things like just take a walk, go outside. And like there's these dynamics, like where I'm hearing these advanced levels of thinking of like this interesting times we're at these different levels. And no matter where I've gotten in my life or how much I felt like I've succeeded, there are those frozen moments I still have that I need to kind of get past that kind of scenario. I don't know, it just kind of hit me really, like, it's freaking hard now.
I hear you. Let me talk about that a little bit. So on the 75 Hard, we talked about pretty much everything I read was Stoicism related, and there's a lot of branches in there, but the biggest overall theme, if anyone out there wants to read a few different books on Stoicism, you can go online and look. It's great old knowledge, but control what you can control. That's why I don't watch the news. They're full of shit. I'm sure we can say that on your podcast, Jeremy. I'll leave my other thoughts aside. They're just steering
nuts, my
people
man.
into
This
thinking
is,
different ways. You know, you're getting all these people pulling your
how I
brain
am.
in one way. Yeah. So control what you can control. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you look at your social media and you're looking at the news and you're looking at who texted you yesterday and looking at all these things, you're not controlling your day. You're letting everyone else's influence and ideas start your day off. Start your day off with 10 minutes to think about what you want to do. Plan your
Amen.
task out. You know, decide what you want to do. And if you're feeling bad and you're not feeling motivated, not everybody feels motivated every day. That's not
meditation,
realistic.
walk on the beach. There's all
Yeah.
sorts of things you can do in the morning.
And there's no way you're going to feel motivated every day. So, yeah, it's great to start a business while you feel motivated, but what are you going to do on the days you feel like shit and you don't want to do anything? You can't not do anything. So what you need to do is learn how to do the things you need to do when you don't feel like it. And so that's what's hard.
You don't want to do.
Do the shit you don't want to do when you don't feel like it.
Yeah, but that's not always true. I'll give you an example. I used to play golf like once, twice a week when I was rocking and rolling, and I used to call it guilt golf. I've mentioned this to Jeremy before. So I'd be in the golf cart, I'd have my phone there, we'd be playing, I'd be taking phone calls, and my friend looks at me and says, "Why don't I just drive you back to your car, go back to work?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "This is bullshit. You're out here playing golf for 5 hours. Enjoy, you know."
This is how he talks
Shut-
to me, mind you, when he comes into the
Yeah.
shop and I'm on my phone all the time now. He's like, why did I even come over here? Why am I here?
There you go.
Are we going to talk or what?
I do that because you tell me to come over for a meeting. I was coming to come over for a broadcast or a podcast, whatever we're doing, and then all of a sudden, it's like the shit show. It's like watching cartoons on Saturday morning.
Yep.
It's like watching the Roadrunner. That's what it is, and the Coyote.
Yep.
But with the golf, so what's
But
up
so
with the golf?
so I love you, so it doesn't matter.
I know that.
But anyway, make a long story short, so I'm playing, and I thought about it. He said, "Shut your phone off right now." So I shut off my phone. I played golf. I played great. We went in, had lunch. I didn't even think about turning my phone back on. And I got back to my office. I had an $80,000 purchase order.
Wow.
So
Oh, that's so
What-
the opposite of mine. That would have been the call I didn't take. I'd come back and be, I could have
But
it
see-
if I answered my
It's a
fucking
But see,
phone.
but listen, I'm going to tell all of you out there that are watching this right now, what you don't understand, if you put the groundwork in and you put the initial stuff in, it's coming. The universe is going to deliver it to you.
Yeah, he's right.
You just don't know when. So instead of worrying about it, when you let it go and you've done the initial contacts or the initial work and everything, and you're open to it happening for you, it happens every single
Okay,
time.
so this is that theory of putting it all in and letting go of the outcome.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Just like what you're talking about is basically
Absolutely.
Doing all you can and letting go of that outcome.
It
of what
absolutely.
It looks like.
Then it made me realize that I could go in the middle of the week and play golf and not worry about any of the bullshit and have a good time.
Because it's going to problems are going to arise anyways, or things are going to happen anyways.
Right.
But the thing he said you have to do the things on the front end. And what I was talking about is when you don't want to do those things on the front end, you still got to do them. And there are times you need to step back and enjoy yourself and turn it off and let it speak for itself.
But you have to have a balance too.
Correct.
So it's okay to mix in the play with your work. It is very healthy for you. And it
Correct.
actually recharges your batteries. It gives you a different perspective on how you look at things. And I know when I'm chasing, it never happens.
Oh God, it's so
when
true.
when I want to sell really bad or I want to move inventory and I'm calling everybody, it's because they can feel the desperation. Even if they can't hear your voice, they can feel the desperation even in the email. I swear to God, it's like
It
really
pokes
really
through.
is like that.
You know,
But if-
Jeremy, the big success that I think I have is that I've been so unreachable, and people think it's a gimmick. It's just I really just am unreachable. I just I forget my business card. So like, oh, look at you trying to be hard to get. I'm like, no, I really forget my business card. But it's worked for me because that
Didn't you
whole
come
theory.
to a podcast here one time with 2 different shoes?
I did. Yes.
All right.
Yes, I've come here.
Hey, she put them on. Check.
Right.
They were
thank
both
you.
black and they
On.
were both like flippy floppy looking, and you were like, I just realized as I walked in here, what happened? I was like, oh
Just
my
keep
God, that is
going.
so great.
Now, see, a real entrepreneur would have taken that and he would have had her take her shoes off, put them on the desk. You would have filmed the whole thing and started a new fad and fashion.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And you'd both be
See?
wealthy right now for selling
Auction them off.
2 different colored shoes.
Regret is
It'd be
another
perfect.
topic. You see, now that's something I could regret.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think putting all the pieces together in the proper way and making sure that you're taking care of the important things on the daily.
What the fuck is that
And-
sometimes,
and
right,
here's the-
though?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that you can't worry about when you go in and doing something, okay, and it's happened to me so many times in my life. Like I did a trade show in Florida. I spent like $10,000 to bring employees down,
Okay.
and bring all this shit. And I'm at the trade show, and it was supposed to be the Tigers of Asia trade show, and they were going to bring in everyone from Latin America. Well, they opened the friggin' doors, and they let people in off the street. It was the biggest shit show I've ever seen in my life. So I'm sitting there for 3 days. It was a 4-day show. I wrote one order for $200. Now I'm there like pissed. I'm there like, oh, this sucks. I'm going to be out $10,000.
Yeah,
I'm going
you're-
to lose
yeah.
my entire. I swear to you, there was 20 minutes left in the show, and back then I was doing a lot of licensed product, a lot of headwear. So I was doing all the team sports, NBA, NFL, all that stuff, and I specialized in hats. I saw this couple walking down the thing, and they're speaking Spanish, and I'm going, oh, here's another people I let in from outside. And they turned and looked at me, hey, hi. I said, hi. They said, can you ship this stuff to South America? I said, yeah, of course I can. Do you know within 20 minutes after that, for a show that I thought I was going to lose, I shipped them 4 containers of hats the following year and made so much money it was ridiculous.
Question
like
for you.
60,000 hats fit in a container. So no matter what you're doing and no matter what you think, if you think you've figured the outcome, you haven't. Because the universe can send you anybody at any time and have anything happen. Like I went one time, I was doing a show and I thought, well, there's nobody here. I had one item. That one guy walked by and looked at me and says, hey, how many of those do you have? I says, I have 3,000. I'll take them all. And, you don't know. So that's the interesting thing. But it's really about keeping your mind open in the communication that the universe will bring you these people. Put the work in, put the effort in. But
What you
when
sound like too is what would be different maybe than someone else would be you approach it with a yes. And I didn't mean to.
No,
but
you're
when
okay.
when you start to stress about it,
You gotta let
and
someone else.
when you bring the stress in though, I'm just want to finish this real quick. When you bring in the stress,
He's a mic hogger. We got a mic hogger here.
I was sitting here for such a long time. Does anyone have an off button to her mic so she can't talk for a while?
It's off. You think this is on? I'm just talking to my own ass.
This reminds
I'm
me of The
here for
Simpsons
looks.
when they went to family therapy, and if you didn't like something they said, they pressed the button, they zap you. Beautiful.
I
I'm
like
trying
that
to shut
feature.
yours off.
On your trade show,
Yeah,
where the people walked in 20 minutes before it ended.
right.
Yes, the fact that you stayed there and the universe brought them to you at the end of the day, I'm not going to disagree with that. That's true. But most people would have left at 4. You realize
Boom.
that, right? Most people wouldn't have stayed. You stayed until it ended. Most
That's a
people
really
at that
good
point
point.
would have been a little bit down. They lose their positive mindset and positive attitude. They go, oh, this is such a waste of money. We're so depressed.
Because trade shows are tough sometimes.
And
man,
people
you know?
always leave early on the
Yeah.
last day. They wouldn't have
Always.
stayed till the end.
Yes, I'm gonna go get drunk is the trade show motto.
Yeah.
That will fix it all. We're gonna network and drink.
Yeah, well, I did okay today, or today sucked, or whatever. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yes.
And they're gone.
He stayed till the bitter end,
Yeah.
and it paid off.
And really, with the trade shows too, after it's done, when all those business owners are there still, and there's not customers walking up, that's usually when I like to go bop around and make the connections and whatnot, because that's like prime time. I always looked at it that way. Once
Yeah.
the trade show's done, go talk to all the business.
You're like, now it's the real event after the event.
Exactly.
That's true. And there's two things that I see with that differentiates successful people. Well, more than one, those two things, but differentiates, and I can hear it all in you. And that is not having a thin skin or rejection. Like ego's put to the side a little bit with these situations. You have to. If you're going to be like hit really hard with something like this, you have to kind of be like, all right, not put it personal. And a lot of us it does become personal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think the failure
So
comes
it's
in
always
too.
personal with me.
Well, that's true. What am I talking about? Look, I upset him. Did I upset you? He's mad at me.
Danny,
He's taking it personal. You're going to have to
It's
try.
my nature.
Gina-
Ask Jeremy.
Gina, just let me know when I can talk again, okay? Thanks.
You are allowed to talk now.
But no, the ego thing is really important to be able to keep that in check too. And I think that
Back to Stoicism again. Look at you.
exactly.
You're back to it. You didn't even know it. You're right back in it. Everybody go read some Stoicism. It will change your life.
Nobody
Yeah.
wins at all of it.
No.
And it's so hard to not take the losses personally, because especially like when you're, I suppose like if you were on the board of Nike, or something like that, you might not take the losses personally. But like when you're in small business, the business is you. It ultimately is you getting
Yeah, but how
rejected
how
to
many?
some extent.
But
Or
how
in
many?
sales.
How many times have all of you? How many times have you run into things where you thought, "Oh my God, this really sucks," and you thought the end of the world was coming, and then another door opened and it was 10 times
Always.
better.
Always.
It was 10 times better than what you were giving up. What I mean difficult people. Sometimes you have difficult people and you deal with them. You put up with their bullshit for the money. It's not worth it.
You're
it's
right.
not worth it when you finally realize that.
Sometimes it's worth it.
No, it isn't worth it.
This
I'm
is a
the-
big
It
one. I'm
isn't
coming up
worth
with
it.
this right
Yes.
now.
It
It's
is
hard.
not worth it. I will tell you categorically.
If the
Forget
stress-
about it.
I
It's
always- I
not
put them
worth
on
it.
On a weighted scale, right? If the stress of the work
If you don't have a
starts to outweigh the money, but difficulty,
if
I'm used to dealing
you
with difficult.
you don't have a person that respects you as a person and takes into your skill set and wants to work with you, you're better off just walking away.
Oh well, yeah. That's
You're
yeah.
walking away. You do real estate, okay?
Yeah.
I know a guy that built a house. He built a $22 million house. I know the guy working on it.
Mm-hmm.
They had to give the guy, he said, if you build the house, I want a 5-year warranty in the house. Well, by the time they get 2 months into it and they realized how bad this guy really was, right? And they put all the windows in and he says, no, I wanted triple pane windows. No, you didn't. You signed right here. You said you wouldn't pay for triple pane windows. Put the singles in. Now you want the triples. They ended up walking off the job. And he goes, so why are you quitting? This is like the third group that came in to finish this house. They said, there's no way we're giving you a 5-year contract with your behavior. So
Yeah.
we have to come back here every single day.
Oh, yeah.
You're better off just walking away. And that's
In a scenario
that's
like
that's
that,
true.
yes.
It's true in business.
Yep.
It's true in business.
They're just trying to get the best. That's when someone's just. It's hard, and it's hard.
But
to
there's
do.
so many good people out there that will give you a fair
This is
price.
true.
That will give you a fair price and will treat you right.
Some of my hardest clients, though, have been some of my. That's been a mind fuck too. So it's both. If they don't respect you, or if it's really too much of your energy. But then some of them where I went, I just got this deal offered to me, and I'm like, what the f? In a normal instance, I would have canceled them out.
Okay.
This one, I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to put them in something else. And I'm like, I'm a new me, Jeremy. I'm a new me, right? I'm more sensitive.
Both shoes on, same ones. We're
Look at
good.
me. I have the two the same shoes on. So I go and I bring them into someone.
What'd you do with that medication? Where is it?
Right. And he goes to me, I was in a meeting you were in. And he tells me this meeting about how he supported me and got this whole thing going for me on the back end I never even knew about. He said, I've been trying to meet you and trying to talk to you. I've been supporting you all these years. And I look at him and I went, Are you kidding me? Yeah, this just happened 2 days ago. So I was blown away, and I went, you know what? That's another lesson that I can't just take something. Everything doesn't have to be black or white. I work with them. I don't work with them. I did now. There's this gray area that maybe I may be interpreting.
Well, if they go too far on the red, they got to go.
Yeah.
I agree. But there's a line, especially when you start out, and then there's a line as you grow and scale. When you start out, you can't say no to everybody. If you say no to everybody, you're never going to get anywhere. So you're going to have to take some of those tougher projects on when you start. As you scale, I think you can more freely say no to people.
I don't really
as you
mean it
scale.
like that. What I mean by saying to you is you'll know from a person if they're easier to work with.
Yeah,
Even if they're difficult, if there's a stickler for something, that's easy. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is people that the only thing they give a shit about is themselves. And no matter what it is, they're going to keep beating you up and doing stuff. It's just not worth working with them.
You can say no.
There's too many people that you can find that would love to do business with you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
I have a question, Jeremy.
Go
I
ahead.
so have a question because this is crazy. You start this during COVID, which is essentially a REIT, but not. I get confused by those two things. But nonetheless, you have people investing in you when these REITs were going down or these kind of situations because people had these group investments where the office spaces and people weren't paying their rent. That's freaking hard. How'd you what differentiated your model going into? Do you mind me going into this direction? Yeah. What differentiated your model going into 2020 that was stronger than these other ones that were falling apart?
So most publicly traded REITs and companies like that, their problem is deploying capital. They have so much money in their funds that they just have to deploy on deals that might not even be good. They don't get to choose. Because when you have a fund, you're paying out a preferred return. You have to pay a return. You don't get to choose. So you can't sit on your money and say, oh, all these deals suck. You got to go buy something. That's their problem. So with us, we're small enough and nimble enough that we can adapt on what's going on. So people parking their money, they'd rather park it with me because they know that I can adapt to different market conditions much more quickly than, the huge mega ship in the ocean. We're nimble. So it just makes sense for people.
Wow,
for sure.
What did you focus on?
We do 1 to 4 units is our focus. Single family, fix and flip, buy and hold. Some things that will wholesale.
That's great right now.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you're going to love what I just got. I got 14 homes package I should talk to you guys about, which is incredible.
Yeah, we might buy them.
I know. I
List
have a
it on
feeling.
air right now, Gina.
We're
Give us
gonna
the
do
deets.
it. Woohoo! Okay, so it's 14 homes in Rosa Parks, and it is $5.2 million, and many of them are duplexes.
About
and
how much per house is that?
It's about $370. But there's different. Some are 4plexes, some are 3plex, and some are 2plex. And the only listed house in that area, and they are on the creek. A lot of them. It's a 30-year collection. The only I don't know what I was going to say.
I like that
got
area.
distracted by myself, my own voice.
That area is very unique.
Oh, there's only one listing, and that's for $850,000.
I know the house.
You know what I'm talking about.
I think it's Lou's house.
It's Lou's house.
Yeah, I know the
and
house.
It's the only thing. So and it's not out yet. So this is hot. Imagine if we made a deal right here. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Matt, offer him 2.5. I think they'll take it.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah.
Low
They're
ball.
desperate.
Let's get this
Dyslexic.
done.
They're
I'm
desperate.
dyslexic agent, so
Why?
you're
So
good.
first
Make this
question.
happen.
So
Matt, I'm in the
Startup
closeout
Tree has
business.
a
I can handle
3%
this
cut,
for
by
you.
the way,
Yeah.
for any transaction.
let all the people out there see how a deal goes.
3% for the big guy, okay?
Jeremy,
It's a
first thing we
coworker.
ask her, first thing we ask the person that calls you about the deal is, why is the person selling? Let's start with that. Why are they selling?
Okay, this is a great question. He's collected these over 30 years. He also owns property throughout the world, actually, some islands and so forth. And he was thinking about it, and we talked about it. And he said, you know what? I'm not interested in just selling one. He said to maintain it would be the same. He collectively purchased in an area where he can manage them, knows the tenants, the whole 9 yards. And he said, so if someone were to come with a package, I'm good. If not, that's okay. And so basically, it was an opportunity that presented itself. He knows me, and he felt comfortable with me, and that's kind of how it transpired. So I think it's a unique opportunity based off of those factors.
So everybody out there, this is what I interpret from this scenario. Owner of these package of properties has bought them way cheaper than what he's about to try to sell them to us or whoever for. He sees a high watermark in the market. His values have never peaked this high. He's owned them for a long time, it sounds like. This deal, to all the real estate investors out there, sounds like a perfect owner financing deal where my fund or whoever could put down, say, 20, 30%, And the guy that owns all the homes holds the note, and he's happy because he's not paying capital gains on selling all these homes, and he can spread out his income over a longer time and not deal with the tenants. So is he open to financing them on his own? Because that's not a purchase I'd like to pay in cash at peak values.
You know, it's something that I do want to send to you. We just finished the brochure yesterday, and I haven't sent it out, so I'd love to show you. I think that it's not at peak prices, which is what I like about this, right? But it does come with taking all of them. And I could discuss with him owner financing, but since it is a really good deal, because think about it, on average, $370,000 each. I mean, that's.
I don't know how many doors. I don't know any cash flow numbers.
How much are they going for? The property's in there.
Well, there's only one listed right now,
For
and
what?
that is for $850,000.
Oh,
Flea's
really?
house. I know the house. They did the real producers there. Yeah.
So are all the houses of equal value or close to it?
Oh, I'll send you the package. It really is pretty sexy. So let's make a deal here. So enough about this kind of stuff. What do you think, Jeremy? How's this going?
I think that we did pretty good. We got another guest coming in about 5-10 minutes, so we'll get this wrapped up.
No, we're not losing him. I
Yeah,
love him.
we're
He's
losing
so
Matt.
interesting.
No, I love
I'm
Matt.
fired.
Matt's
I'm firing myself.
So
You gotta
Matt-
know when to fire yourself.
Real quick, Matt, if anybody listening wants to reach out to you with anything you've been talking about, where do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
I would say go on our website, deployedcapitalgroup.com, put an inquiry in there. You can find me on Facebook, Matt Kelsey. Probably the best way to get a hold of me is that way.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Ooh, you're fancy.
Hey, Matt, let me ask you something. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's going on with these? I've seen 2 or 3 ads for this so far. What's going on with these people that buy houses with no money out of their pocket, but they never really own the house?
Yeah, they just
and
put
they
a contract
and they
on
put
it.
them on a list, and they try to flip them to other people.
Yeah. Basically what
Because
you
I have
do.
a friend that just bought one from a guy like that.
Yeah, it's fine. So
it's just I thought it was very interesting, the concept of doing that.
So we talked about you can go mow lawns to make some money.
Right.
We talked about you can go do some arbitrage to make some money. Here's another one to add to the list: wholesale a house. Say you have a house that I think is worth $100,000 to a cash buyer. You might be a distressed seller, maybe you just got a divorce, or maybe you inherited a property, whatever. I go to you, I say, hey, I will buy your house. I will close in 2 weeks. I'm going to pay you 90. You can go through the traditional process. You might get 100, right? 100 and something, but I'm going to pay you 90. I buy it from you for 90 on a contract. I might put $100 down on it with a 2-week closing. I don't have 90 grand, but I know someone who does. So I bought it from you for 90. We're closing in 2 weeks. I go to you. I know you want to pick up another property in this area. We've already talked about it. You're on my cash buyers list. You're looking for something in there 95 or less. Bang. I make the 5.
Yeah, it sounds like a very interesting concept.
It is, but it's a murky area. So what I can't do is I should not be telling you I'm the one buying the house. I should be telling you I'm finding
Correct.
a buyer. 99% of people that do what I'm telling you don't do that. They
They
act
say
like there's a buyer.
they're buying the house, act like they're the buyer.
I wouldn't do that if I,
I
was
don't like
wholesaling.
it. I see a lot of the aftermath of that situation.
Really?
You know, if it's not done correctly, it's an assignable contract.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Matt, totally.
Just tell them. The problem is if you're a distressed seller and it's an inheritance property or divorce or like maybe you have a rough financial time, I cannot go to you and tell you I'm buying in 2 weeks if I don't know 100% I can't do it. That's the problem with that.
So what ends up happening? They just give the property back if they don't buy it?
It's bad. A lot of them just disappear. They ghost. They don't give the property back 'cause they never owned it. They just a contract, just cancel their contract and
Wow.
lose their $100 or whatever.
And they have a revolving door with people going in and out that haven't been vetted.
And they're gonna tell you that my inspector's got to come by, but really it's her that needs to buy the house.
Gina, you're a good-looking inspector.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Inspector Gina.
So
All right,
the-
so that's one. That's
yeah.
one more thing, guys. If you want to learn more about that, reach out
Go
to Matt.
wholesale. Reach
All right,
out.
go
I'll tell you how to
Jeremy,
do
why
it
are you canceling
ethically.
us out?
Yeah, I'm canceling. Yeah, we're on a time
I
crunch
wanna
here.
hear that.
Ethically.
More guests coming in.
Woohoo!
I'm gone.
Wrap it up. All right, guys. Listen, Matt, appreciate you for coming in,
Yes.
my man.
Matt, you sounded great. Thanks for coming.
Have a good day.
All
Nice
right,
to meet
guys.
you
Thank you
guys.
very
Nice
much.
to meet you.
Yeah.
I'll go get
Coming
you
up
my card.
next, we got Danny Alvarez. Looking forward to it.
See you guys.
See you, brother.
Did you get married?
Yes, I got married during COVID when being normal was not normal anymore.
What's her name?
My name?
No, her name.
Oh, her name.